Fine, good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. First of all, students, pray for your health, your parents, your education and for all the things, okay? So pray to God. Prayer is the first thing, remaining is the next thing, okay? So because of this COVID-19, we are unable to continue our classes through the school. So we are using this online classes. So please students, all of you attentive and please listen daily portions and please study what are things we are taking. Okay. So welcome to our today's online class. So I am Shiny, your computer science teacher. Already I handled your 11th standard portions. Okay. So before I am going to start about your 12th standard portions, just I am giving introduction about 12th standard. What are the things you are going to study in 12th standard? Okay. So before that I am going to ask what are things you have studied in 11th standard? Okay. So 11th standard total how many chapters you have? Totally 18 chapters, isn't it? So in this 18 chapters you have studied about what do you mean by hardware and what do you mean by software and main important on programming language you have studied. So what's the programming language you have studied in 11th standard? Are you remembering? C++, isn't it? Okay. So like that, so in this 12th standard, you are going to study about a new programming language called Python. Okay. So C++ and Python is entirely different. Okay. So this year 12th standard also, you have totally 16 chapters. Okay. So last year you have studied 18 chapters, but this year, this 12th standard, you are going to study about how many chapters you are going to study? Totally 16 chapters. Okay. So comparing to the 11th standard, this 12th standard portion is very easy. Okay. So if you are studying daily portions, means you can able to score 100 marks. Okay. So among this 16 chapter, they have divided into 5 units. Okay, 5 units they have divided. So listen. So first unit totally there are 4 chapters. Okay. So first unit you have 4 chapters. So first 4 chapters you are going to study about just what are the introductions, what do you mean by function. For example, first chapter they are given function. So you are going to study about what do you mean by function and what are the things you are going to use inside this function. Like that. Okay. Then second chapter you are going to study about data abstraction. Likewise, first fourth chapter you are not going to study detailed about this programming language, but you are going to study about just overview or definitions of this Python language. Understood? So among this first 4 chapter, you can expect 2 mark questions, 3 mark questions and 1 5 mark, 1 or 2 5 mark questions. Okay, like that you are dividing and studying means, so you can able to score center mark. For that only first class itself I am telling about this one. Okay, then likewise second unit consists of 4 chapters. Okay, so second unit is also totally how many chapters you have? 4 chapters. So second unit fully you are going to study about pure Python language. What do you mean by Python? So what's the use of Python? Where you are going to implement Python? So like this full introduction about Python. So all the things in this Python language, what are things you are going to use? All the things you are going to study in unit 2. That means 4 chapters. Okay. So this is very important chapters. Among this also you can expect 2 mark question, 3 mark question and 2 5 mark question. Okay. Then to unit 3. So unit 3 dividing into 2 chapters. Okay. So already in 11th standard you have studied about basic concept of OOPS, isn't it? So what are the basic concepts you have studied? Modularity, abstraction, inheritance. Likewise, some of the concept of OOPS are implementing in which one? Python also. So that you are going to study in which one? This chapter 9 and 10. Okay. Then fourth unit is divided into totally 3 chapters. Okay. So Here you are going to study about database concept. So what do you mean by database? For example, so you might have know about online form filling, isn't it? So you have filled your, sometimes you are going to apply online exams or applications or anything. So you need to type your basic details or profiles, isn't it? So after once you are clicking the submit button or finish button, so all the details will be automatically stored in some device. That is called what? Database. Okay. So that kind of database you are going to study about this fourth chapter. Okay. Then fifth chapter, that is fifth unit, consists of 3 chapters. Okay. So here you are going to import lot of, last year you studied no C++. Likewise you are going to implement lot of languages in this Python. So this is your syllabus and just I am giving the overview. Okay. So in the textbook itself they have divided this unit ways. Likewise you are splitting and studying means you can able to score, surely I am telling you can able to score center mark. So understood, this is the syllabus for your 12th standard. Okay. So now I am going to start with your 12th standard first chapter. Okay. So what's the title for your first chapter? Means function. So what's the title for your first chapter? Functions. So you are familiar about functions, isn't it? 11th standard fully I have taught about what do you mean by function. So like this, what's the use of function? So what do you mean by function? What do you mean by function? Just recall. It's a small sections of code. So for example in the C++ program you are going to write. So what's the first line? Header file. Okay. So and also, so this year we are going to study about Python language. Python is first itself I said. Python is entirely different from which one? C++. Okay. For example C++, first you are going to implement this header file. Then you need to write your functions or data declarations. Then variable declaration, function declaration, everything, isn't it? So after that only you will write main of function. Then you need to call all the things, isn't it? Likewise, but Python program is entirely different from this C++. So in this Python program there is no header file, no variable declarations, no punctuation marks, etc, etc. Okay. So here first they are giving introduction about functions. Okay. So before you are going to study about function, first you should know about algorithm. Okay. So algorithm also you have studied in the 11th standard 7th chapter. Okay. So that and all you will leave it. Okay. So what do you mean by algorithm? Okay. So you might have studied lot of experiments or lot of things in science in 10th standard you have studied. So before you are going to do your practical, first what you will write? So what are things you are going to use? Next what are the things you will write? Procedure, isn't it? So in the place of procedure, what are things you will write? So what you are going to do, that you will write in procedure, isn't it? Same way only algorithm. Algorithm means, so by human understanding language, or that means what do you mean by human understanding language? So English, each and every students can able to read English, isn't it? So that's the human understanding. English or Tamil like that. So likewise, human understandable language by humans you can able to read and write. So that's called algorithm. By your own words you can express. For example, I am telling, so you are going to add 2 numbers. Okay, you are going to add how many numbers? 2 numbers. So that 2 numbers, so that program you are going to implement in C++, you are going to write the program to add 2 numbers. What you will write? First header file, that and all you leave it. Okay. So for adding 2 numbers means you are using the function. So for example, I am telling void sum of. Void sum of. So what's the function name here? Sum, isn't it? So inside the sum, I need to declare how many variables you take. So I'm going to add 2 numbers. So 2 numbers means how many variables I need to declare? 2. For example, int a comma b, isn't it? So now I am talking about C++. Okay. Then inside you can write c equal to a plus b. Okay. So that one we can call as what? Functions, isn't it? Same way, the same thing you are going to write as the algorithm. Algorithm is what I said, same as procedure, what you are going to do. Okay. So that one you are going to write as what? Algorithm. For example, same thing you take, adding 2 numbers. What you will write first? First write one function called void sum of. Then you need to declare two variables. What are they? A and B. Second point. Then third point, you can compute the formula sum equal to A plus B. Then you can return that sum. Understood? So that we can call as what? Algorithm. Understood now what do you mean by algorithm? Okay. So here time is very very important. Okay. So always humans will prefer the fast computations. So you are going to add 100 numbers. So whether you are adding 100 numbers is very easy, or the same 100 numbers you are going to add using calculator is easy. Calculator is easy. That one only you will prefer. Why? That is very fast. Same way, whatever things you are going to express, the time is consideration is very very important. Okay. So time, there is a requirement of time is very very important. How much time it will take to complete a particular task. Okay. For example, they will give one task for you. So and also they will give maximum time as 15 minutes. Okay. Any one task, maybe game or anything. So maximum task time is what? 15 minutes. So within that task, how many persons will complete? So what you will do? So you will think, so I need to complete before that 15 minutes. For example, 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Then only I can able to score. Likewise, which algorithm is taking less time to complete, that algorithm is preferable. Understood the first point? This is an introduction. No need to study. Just read it. Okay. So don't leave even a single line, because you can expect one more questions from each and every corner portions of the, okay, each and every chapter, even the corner and no corner, they will ask the one more question. So don't leave even a single line. Okay. So I said computation time. So same thing, you are going to write the program in the computer. Okay. So how you will calculate the computation time? So you are running the program in the computer. So your expectation is, so within 5 minutes or within 2 seconds you will get an output. Okay. So how you will get the output, or how you will getting the output based on this time. Okay. For that, the three important factors are there. Your computation time must be independent of. Independent, what's the difference between dependent and independent? So dependent means you are going depending, for example, you are depending your parents. Independent means you are not depending on, like that. Okay. So if you are implementing some programs or algorithm, so it should not be depend on what are three things: programming language, compiler and computer use. For example, so you are using C++, some same program you are running in C++, Java, .NET or anything. So which will give the result faster? That you need to prefer. That's the programming language. Then compiler. So each and every programming language will have some compiler. So which compiler will give the fast result? Okay. Then computer. Okay, computer means which kind of computer you are. For example, sometimes your computer will have 2 GB RAM. Some computers will have 4 GB RAM. Which will be giving the fast result? The computer have 4 GB RAM will have give faster. Likewise, so the algorithm comparison is mainly depend on which one? Programming language, compiler and computer used. Okay. So next, some place of program you are going to use 5 or 6 lines again and again. The same thing you have studied in 11th standard also. Okay. So functions you have studied, isn't it? For example, adding 2 numbers. So you need to add 5 numbers. Okay. So I am, for example, sum equal to A plus B I am giving. So sum equal to A plus B I am giving me, you can able to give any 2 values. Whether you can able to give only the same value for all the time? No. You can able to give any 2 different values, isn't it? But you are writing the function one time, but based on your wish you are going to use again and again. Okay. So that only they are telling some bulk of some group of statements you are going to run or using many number of time to return a particular, to finish a particular task. That is called what? Subroutine. Understood about introduction part? So this is the introduction. So just read it. From this you can expect one word questions. Understood? Okay. So next is the definition of subroutines. So whether you got the textbooks or not, so I don't know. So if you are not having the textbook, means please listen. So while I am taking class itself, I am telling, please note it down. Okay. So in 12th standard, first 2 mark question, definition of subroutine. Okay, very important 2 mark question is subroutine. First 2 mark question. So in this chapter, very important 2 mark questions are there. Among that important question, this subroutine is very important. Okay, first we are going to study about definition. What do you mean by subroutine? Okay, so subroutine is the basic building block of computer program. That means, for example, you are going to write a C++ program. So which is the basic thing? First you will write which one? Header file. Without header file, whether you can run the program? No. So if you are writing the header file, functions, everything, but you are not writing the main of function, whether you can run the program? No. So in that, header file is the main important thing, main of function is the main important thing, isn't it? Likewise, in Python, subroutines are the basic building blocks of computer program. What do you mean by basic? For a house, which is the basic building block? Basement. Without basement, whether the house can stand, right? No. Basement, isn't it? Likewise, in computer programming, subroutines are the basic building blocks. Understood the first point? Very important 2-mark question. Again and again I am telling. First point is subroutine. Subroutines are the basic building block of computer program. Understood? Okay. So next, subroutines are small sections of code. Subroutines are nothing but functions. Okay. So for example, void sum of int a comma b. So that's a small sections of code, isn't it? You are going to add two numbers, sum equal to a plus b. That's a small sections of code, isn't it? But in that small sections of a code, what's the use? For example, void sum of int a comma b, then sum equal to a plus b. So what's the use of that function? You are going to add two numbers. So what's the task for that function? Adding two numbers. So in the same program itself, you need to add two numbers many places. So you are writing the functions one, but based on your wish, you are using again or repeatedly. Understood? Now read the second point. Subroutines are the small, very small sections of code, but that small sections of code is mainly used to the performing the task repeatedly. You need to perform the task, but more number of times you need to perform the task. Okay. So in programming, we can call other name of subroutines is functions. Okay, so in a programming language, what's the other name of subroutine? Functions. Understood? Very important. First 2-mark question. First chapter, first 2-mark question. Very important. Most of the question papers you saw means this 2-mark questions will be there. Okay, so if you are not getting the textbook means, please note it down now itself. Okay, so what's the first point? Please note it down and study first 2-mark question. So what's the first point? Subroutines are the basic building blocks of program. So next one is, it's a small sections of a code. What's the use of that small sections of a code? To perform the task repeatedly. So in programming language, we can call the subroutines is otherwise called functions. Understood? Have you all written? So if you are not having the textbooks means, please note it down this question, very important, again and again and telling. Okay? Have you all written? Okay. Then second 2-mark question, second important 2-mark question is function. Okay. So what's the second important question is that? Function. First important question is subroutine, second one is function. So function is the unit of code. So what's the meaning of unit? Unit means one. Same example you take. Okay. Void sum of int a comma b. Inside, right, sum equal to a plus b. Then open brace, close brace, you are going. So that's a small unit of, small say same only. That's a unit of code. That's a single piece of code. Okay. So in a program, more number of lines will be there, isn't it? So among that more number of lines, you are using this functions as only a small part or single unit of code. Okay, so among the greater for example, in a program containing 100 lines, so among the 100 lines, you are going to write a functions for only 4 or 5 lines. So that 5 lines you can call as a unit of code. So read the first point. Function is the unit of code defined with greater code structure. That means, so among the greater code, that 100 lines of code, you are defining the function as a single unit. Understood the first point? Then second point, so this function will contain lot of things. For example, int, the same example you take, void sum of int a comma b. Okay, so in that, what are things you can say? Void is the data type, sum is the function name, a comma b is the variables. Inside you are writing sum equal to a plus b, that's a formula or expression. So a lot of things you can say inside the function. So here read it. Function contains set of code. So functions is a set of code that contain lot of inputs. Without input you will get the output? No. So if you need to add two numbers mean you should give two inputs. What are the inputs you need to give for adding two numbers? Int a comma b, that is the inputs. So what's the expressions you are using? Sum equal to a plus b, that's the expression. So what output you will get? For example, you are giving 4 plus 5 means you will get the output as 9. Understood? So if a function contain what are things? What are things of the inputs you can give? Variance. Variance means nothing but variables. Variables using in the function. So what are things you are giving? Variables. Then expression. Same example you can say sum equal to a plus b. That's the expression. So without input you can, without proper input you cannot able to get a proper output. So function will contain what are things? Proper inputs, like what are things? Variance means nothing but variables, expressions. Using that you can able to produce a proper output. Understood? So today you have studied about two definitions. What are the definitions? Introduction, just you have studied. Introduction, what are things you have studied? What do you mean by algorithm? So the computation time independent of the three features. So just read it. Among that you will get 1 mark question. Then two important 2 mark questions you have studied. What are they? So what do you mean by subroutine? And what do you mean by function? So very important 2 mark questions you have studied. So please note it down, and after completion of this portion please study this 2 mark question this time. So today's homework for you is, so you need to read this, that just recall introduction part, what are the things I said. Then you should study the subroutine and function. Please note it down and study carefully, so you can expect the same question for your annual exam also. Study well, take care students, pray for your health and everything. Thank you students, remaining I'll continue in the next class. Thank you.